Faith Edwards could not shake the hollow ache building inside her when she realized her best friend Megan Wallace and her boyfriend Noah Parker had gone on a trip together without her. Megan had dressed it up as a friendship vacation, insisting it was nothing more than two close friends enjoying their time off, but the words left a bitter taste in Faith's mouth. It sounded innocent on the surface, but when she saw Noah and Megan come back wearing matching friendship rings, the excuse felt more like a cruel joke. Just the day before, Megan had laughed and demanded that the three of them buy a set of matching rings, insisting that if Faith and Noah could wear couple rings, then she too deserved a symbol of their unbreakable trio. Faith had refused immediately, reminding her that she never liked wearing jewelry, and that the only reason she wore her couple ring with Noah was to make him happy. She thought the subject was closed, but the very next day she noticed Megan and Noah both flaunting shiny new silver bands identical in style and worn proudly as though they were a pair. A friendship ring, Faith scoffed. It looked far more like a couple's ring than anything else, and the sight of it made her chest tighten in ways she could not describe. She tried to distract herself with her after-school lessons, burying her mind in SAT prep. But as she scrolled through her phone on the ride home, her breath caught in her throat. There on her feed was a brand new post from Megan Wallace. A brightly lit photo filled the screen, Megan and Noah shoulder to shoulder, their faces glowing with smiles, each holding a skewer of grilled food. They looked so happy, so natural together, like a snapshot of something more intimate than casual friendship. The caption was even worse: "Friendship trip forever and always Faith," froze her body rigid as a strange heaviness settled in her chest. She could not look away from the photograph, her mind replaying the memory of a conversation from just 1 week earlier. Back then, Megan had grasped her hand with sparkling eyes brimming with excitement. "Faith, let's go on a friendship trip together. Just us, to celebrate how long we've known each other." Faith had blinked at her in surprise. Now, in the middle of senior year, Megan, that's crazy. It was only 6 months before college entrance exams. Everyone was drowning in tutoring sessions and study groups, and no one had the luxury of disappearing on vacation. Yet Megan had insisted, nodding fiercely. "We've been friends for years, and we've never traveled together, not once. Don't you think it's the perfect time?" Faith had opened her mouth to explain how impossible it would be, but before she could speak, Noah had jumped in eagerly. "That sounds great. It's been ages since I've gone anywhere fun." He slung his arm over Faith's shoulder, giving her a playful shake, his face glowing with anticipation. "Come on, Faith, why not? Winter break is coming up. It'll be the perfect way to relax. You know how stressful senior year has been. Everyone's suffocating under the pressure. A short trip will help us breathe again. Don't you think we deserve that?" His words had been persuasive, but Faith had stood her ground. She thought about the endless practice exams, the private tutoring sessions, the relatives she still had to visit during the holidays. Winter break barely lasted a month, and she could not afford to waste precious time. 6 months of effort could decide her entire future. She shook her head gently. "Not now. Let's wait until summer. When exams are over, the whole season will be ours. We can travel anywhere you want for as long as you want. I promise." Noah's face had fallen instantly, his lips curling into a pout, while Megan's bright eyes dimmed with disappointment. Seeing them both sulk like children denied candy, Faith had laughed softly and patted their shoulders. "Come on, don't be sad. Summer will be here before you know it. When the time comes, I'll let you two plan everything and I won't argue." They had exchanged a glance and sighed but dropped the subject. Faith thought that was the end of it. She never imagined that when she was buried in prep classes and homework, they would secretly pack their bags and go without her. And now, thanks to Megan's cheerful post, she knew the truth. Her chest tightened. So this was how it felt to be excluded, to be left behind by the two people she trusted most. She stared at the photo until her vision blurred, the bright smiles stabbing at her heart like little knives. Without thinking, she tapped the call button. The line rang for what felt like an eternity before Megan finally answered. "Hey, Faith, what's up?" Megan's voice was casual, too casual, as if nothing were out of place. "You two went on that trip," Faith said flatly. There was no point in dancing around it. There was a pause, followed by a laugh. "Oh, you saw the post. Look, it's not like we were trying to hide it. You said no, remember? You said you were too busy, that you didn't have the time. Noah and I were both free during winter break, so we decided to go together. That's all. It was just a little friendship trip." On cue, Noah's voice came through faintly in the background. "Faith, don't be upset. We knew you were swamped with tutoring and didn't want to disturb you. We figured we'd just go enjoy a couple of days and be back before you even noticed. We didn't mean to keep it from you. Really, it was just for fun. Next time you'll come with us, okay?" Their words were smooth, delivered with ease, but Faith felt no comfort. Instead, her chest constricted even tighter. They had acted without her, laughed without her, worn rings without her. And all the while, she was the last to know. Noah's voice came through the line, then calm and familiar, carrying that easy charm he always used when he wanted me to forgive him. "Faith, you're swamped with tutoring and studying, and Megan and I didn't want to bother you. We weren't hiding it from you, I promise. We'll be back soon, it's not a big deal." He chuckled as though that explanation made everything lighter. "Come on, you understand, don't you?" Senior year has been brutal. I've been under so much pressure. I just needed to relax a little. The trip's been amazing, really. Next time you'll come with us, right? You'd love it here. The scenery is gorgeous. I just wish you could see it too. I sat there in silence, my phone pressed tight against my ear, my pulse loud in my head. "Faith, are you still there? Is the connection?" Bad Noah's voice sharpened with concern. But I inhaled deeply and forced myself to sound steady. "It's fine. You two just enjoy yourselves. I'm hanging up." I ended the call before either of them could say another word. The truth was, I couldn't bring myself to argue anymore. They had explained it away, and technically they weren't wrong. I had said no. I had been the one too busy, too focused on exams and obligations. I couldn't forbid them from going. If I made a scene now, wouldn't that make me the selfish one? Besides, they were already there, already having fun. What was I supposed to do, show up and drag them home like a jealous parent? One was my boyfriend, the other my best friend. If I started a fight, the only thing I would succeed in breaking was every bond I valued. I told myself to let it go. Winter break came and went, the days swallowed up by cram sessions, textbooks, and endless drills. By the time classes resumed, I pushed the incident aside, convincing myself it was just a small cut that would heal. Noah and I didn't even attend the same school, so our meetings were rare. Weeks passed and the distance grew more visible with each day. Eventually, Noah began to complain. "You only ever study. How long has it been since we spent real time together? Don't you miss me at all?" His voice carried a wounded edge as he looked at me with those accusing eyes. "Faith, answer me. What's more important to you, me or school?" The answer lived on the tip of my tongue. Of course, school was more important. It was my future. But saying that aloud would only deepen the cracks forming between us. So I swallowed my pride and tried a different approach. After tutoring one evening, I walked into a jewelry store, heart pounding, and bought a pair of simple silver bands. I told myself this small gesture might soothe him, remind him that I cared too. The next day, I placed one in his hand. "Here, wear this and promise me you won't be upset anymore." Noah's eyes lit up instantly, boyish and eager, as though I had just handed him a priceless treasure. He slipped it on right there, smiling with an air of magnanimity. "All right, I'll accept this." I exhaled with relief. A victory, however small. Maybe this was what it meant to juggle love and ambition, to pacify, to compromise. It was exhausting, but I told myself it was worth it. That weekend, the three of us met at the library. We sat together at a long oak table, books and papers spread out. But Megan's attention was caught not by the textbooks, but by my hand. "Oh wow, what's that?" she asked, her eyes glinting with curiosity. I followed her gaze, suddenly aware of the band glinting under the fluorescent lights. It's a couple ring. Noah and I each have one." Noah lifted his hand proudly, showing off the matching band. "Faith bought them. Nice, right?" His grin was wide, a little too smug, as if announcing our bond to the world. Megan froze for a fraction of a second, then broke into a laugh that grated against my ears. "Pretty ring? But don't you think just the two of you isn't fair? You can't leave me out like that." She leaned closer, her voice laced with playfulness. "How about we all get friendship rings? The three of us together like a symbol. Wouldn't that be perfect?" Her words struck me like ice water, but I shook my head at once. "No, I don't even like jewelry. This one is already enough." In truth, I had only bought the ring to ease Noah's sulking. Wearing it felt strange, a little heavy, a little awkward, but I did it for him. Adding another. That was out of the question. Noah didn't argue either. Just shrugged, his expression neutral. "Let's drop it. We've got enough homework to get through." Megan raised her brows but fell silent. For a while, the only sound was the scratch of pens on paper. I began to think the matter was finished. But then one evening, as I sat across from Noah, my eyes fell on his hand and froze. There on his finger was not just the silver band I had given him, but another one, new and unfamiliar. What's that? The question slipped from my lips sharper than I intended. Before Noah could answer, Megan, who was with us again, beamed with delight. She slipped her own ring from her finger and held it up proudly. You noticed pretty, right? I picked these out myself. Friendship rings for us. It took forever to find a style I loved. It's a shame you didn't want one, Faith. Her smile was radiant, her tone carefree, but all I could hear was the pounding in my chest as I stared at Noah's hand. 2 rings, one from me, one from her, and somehow I was supposed to pretend it meant nothing. The word friendship ring echoed in my mind as I turned to Noah Parker, my eyes locking on the band glittering on his finger. It was the exact same design Megan Wallace had just shown off. My stomach twisted. He was wearing 2 rings now. One was the couple ring I had given him, the other was hers. A surge of unease rushed through me. Noah noticed the change in my face and hurried to explain. Faith, relax. Megan said these rings are really popular right now. Honestly, it didn't matter to me if I wore it or not, but she looked disappointed. I figured it's harmless. We're all friends anyway, and it looks nice, doesn't it? Exactly, Megan chimed in with a bright smile, her eyes gleaming with satisfaction. Faith, you're not mad, are you? Don't tell me you're upset. You didn't want one. Remember, I didn't get angry. Just because you didn't doesn't mean Noah can't. Friendship isn't supposed to be selfish, right? Her words stung. For some reason, the image of their winter trip together flashed through my mind. That trip had been just the 2 of them. Now it was rings again, just the 2 of them. And me, always the last one to know, always the outsider in my own story. As I studied Megan's glowing face and Noah's nonchalant expression, a chilling suspicion crawled into my thoughts. Did Megan like him? Were they hiding something from me? After Megan left, I turned to Noah, my voice firm. I want you to take that ring off. I can't explain it, but it bothers me. I don't like it, Noah. He hesitated just for a second, but it was enough. That hesitation told me everything. My chest tightened as I pressed him. You don't want to take it off, do you? He gave a little laugh, his voice light, too light. Faith, it's just a ring. Why are you making such a big deal out of it? You didn't want to wear one. I didn't force you. Why should I have to take mine off if I do? Megan will be hurt. We're friends, aren't we? I let out a cold laugh. And what about me? Doesn't it matter if I'm hurt? His expression darkened. You're being unreasonable. I wear your couple ring, so why can't I wear a friendship ring too? Are you saying our friendship with Megan is fake? Then his eyes flickered with something mocking and his lips curved into a smirk. Wait, are you jealous? The words punched the air out of my lungs. He was smiling, teasing, treating my feelings like some silly joke. There's nothing to be jealous about, he continued, shrugging. If it really bothers you, why don't we all get matching friendship rings? Wouldn't that be fairer? You demanding I take it off? That's what's unreasonable? Unreasonable, the word slammed into me. I had only asked him to remove 1 ring, just 1, and he dared to call me excessive. I forced a deep breath, trying to keep calm. And if I insist, if I tell you I want it off no matter what? His face soured with irritation. Faith, what's wrong with you today? Stop being so difficult. And in the end, he didn't take it off. The conversation ended in tense silence, leaving both of us simmering in our own resentment. He had once claimed it didn't matter. Yet now he clung to it like it meant everything. I lay awake that night staring at the ceiling, tossing and turning as the knot inside me grew tighter. The more I thought about it, the less my anger was directed at Noah. What really gnawed at me was Megan. She had been my friend for years, the person I thought I could trust without question. But what was she really thinking? The next day during lunch break, I made up my mind. I walked straight to her classroom. She was standing by the window, sunlight glinting off the silver band on her finger, shining so brightly it felt like a deliberate taunt. I drew a deep breath and steadied my voice. Megan, I need to ask you something. She turned, eyebrows lifting in mild surprise. What is it? I smiled faintly. But there was an edge beneath it. How about I introduce you to a boyfriend? Megan's eyes widened in surprise at my words, before a soft laugh slipped from her lips. Introduce me to a boyfriend, Faith, come on. Don't I already know every guy you know? Her tone carried a trace of doubt, but there was also a teasing curve in her smile. I tilted my head, my own smile, faint, unreadable. Actually, it's one of Noah's friends. He asked me to check with you. The lie slid easily from my tongue. It wasn't about matchmaking at all. It was about testing her, drawing out the truth I suspected she was hiding. If she really had feelings for Noah, There was no way she would entertain the idea of dating someone close to him. Just as I expected, Megan hesitated. Her lips parted, then pressed together. One of Noah's friends. Who, you wouldn't know him, I replied lightly. But would you like me to set something up anyway? Her expression wavered, a flicker of unease flashing across her face before she shook her head quickly. That's too sudden. Forget it. I let out a small, cold laugh and pressed further. So you already have someone in your heart? Is that why you're so quick to say no? Not even curious enough to ask more? Megan's smile lingered, though her eyes carried a detached glimmer. I'm not in any rush. If the right person comes along, it'll just happen naturally. No need to force it. Oh, so there is someone, isn't there? I narrowed my eyes, studying every subtle twitch of her features. She neither confirmed nor denied it, only tilted her head and asked, But why are you suddenly asking me this, Faith? I forced a laugh, acting casual. Didn't you once talk about wanting a friendship trip? Lately, I've seen so many couples traveling together. It looked fun. And since you and Noah already went on your little friendship trip during winter break, I thought maybe after exams we could plan something special, a couples trip. Wouldn't that be exciting? I had prepared this line carefully, hoping she would catch my meaning, but instead of looking flustered, Megan waved her hand with airy ease. Why complicate things? The three of us can just go together, that's enough. My breath hitched. Why was it always three? Why did she insist on being part of something meant for two? I had said plainly it would be a couples trip. Was she really that oblivious? Or did she simply refuse to step aside? If the roles were reversed, if she had a boyfriend, I would never dream of inserting myself into their private plans. I kept my mouth shut, trying to calm the rising irritation. She cocked her head, watching me. I inhaled deeply, steadying myself before answering. 3 people on a couples trip would be awkward. Noah and I have been struggling a little lately. I thought if we invited another couple, it would help balance things out, make it more fun for everyone. Her brows shot up in surprise. You and Noah aren't back on good terms yet. He told me you two had a fight, but I didn't think it was that serious. The word struck me like a splash of cold water. My pulse quickened. He told you that I asked slowly, my voice tighter than I intended. She shrugged, casual, unconcerned. Nothing much, just that you argued. A bitter laugh escaped me, my gaze hardening. So even small arguments between us are worth reporting to you now. Megan lifted her hand dismissively. He only mentioned it in passing. Don't tell me you're mad about that too. How could I not be? If she were in my place, would she accept it so easily? Would she smile if her boyfriend shared their private quarrels with another girl? The irritation coiled inside me, sharp and raw. I no longer cared to circle around the truth. Megan, I said firmly. Then let me be just as direct. No matter how close we are when it comes to Noah, shouldn't you know where the line is? He's my boyfriend. There should be limits. I can't believe even the little things between us are things you two share so casually. And then you keep saying the 3 of us together is enough. Honestly, it makes me uncomfortable. I want you to keep some distance. Her lips curved, and then shockingly she laughed. The sound was light but laced with something sharper, almost triumphant, as though my frustration had given her exactly what she wanted. Her face lit up, not with apology, but with a strange sort of revelation. Megan tilted her head, eyes glittering with something sly, and let out a soft laugh. Ah, so that's why you came to me in the middle of lunch. You've been holding this in for a long time, haven't you? Honestly, Faith, you never said anything before. How was I supposed to know it bothered you? And don't forget, I was the one who introduced you to Noah in the first place. If anything, I'm the reason you two are even together. It's not like Noah and I are sneaking around in private. So what exactly do you want me to do? Pretend we're strangers? Keep some imaginary wall between us? Come on, that's ridiculous. She raised her hands as if in surrender. Her expression painted with false innocence, yet her eyes gleamed with something smug. Don't forget, Noah was my friend before he was your boyfriend. So now you want me to just cut him off? Isn't that the same as using me and then tossing me aside? That's pretty ungrateful considering I'm your matchmaker. Her words made me laugh, though there was nothing funny about them. Gratitude, yes. I was thankful she had introduced us, but that didn't mean she had the right to blur every line. I drew in a slow breath, holding her gaze. Then answer me this. If it were you, if your boyfriend wore 2 rings, one from you and one from me, would you be happy about it? Would you be smiling right now? Megan only shrugged, that infuriating smile still tugging at her lips. You were the one who refused to wear the friendship ring, Faith. I didn't force Noah. If he wanted to wear it, what could I do? Am I supposed to rip it off his hand? That's not my responsibility. And don't tell me you two actually fought over this. Seriously, you're making yourself look small. Can't even handle a symbol of friendship without blowing it up into something bigger. You've changed, Faith. You're not the same. Her mocking tone sliced deeper than any apology ever could. She played the victim so well, as if I were the unreasonable one, while every part of me screamed that I was the one betrayed. It was unbearable. In that moment, the haze cleared. I saw her for what she was if she really liked Noah. Why hadn't she just said so from the beginning? Why drag this out, stringing me along, pretending to be my friend while inching closer to him? I was done with half-truths and sly smiles. Some things needed to be dragged into the light. After school, I grabbed her by the wrist and pulled her toward the gate where Noah's classes led out. Her face twisted in annoyance. What are you doing? Are you insane? I laughed, cold and sharp. Insane, maybe, but if I am, it's because of the two of you. Today we're going to settle this once and for all. She tried to shake me off, but I held tight. When Noah finally walked out of the building, I stepped into his path, my voice cutting through the crowd. Noah, the three of us need to talk. He frowned immediately, irritation clouding his features. Faith, why are you yelling? You're hurting my hand. He rubbed his wrist where I'd tugged him, acting as if I were nothing but a nuisance. I laughed again, the sound bitter. My eyes swept over both of them, and I spoke slowly, each word deliberate. I've thought about it long enough. My boyfriend shares our arguments with another girl, and that girl insists we should all travel together like some bizarre threesome. Don't you think that's a little too close? Don't you think that's crossing the line? I drew in a breath, my chest aching with every word. If you two are really this comfortable together, then why don't you just date each other? Why bother with me at all? Noah's eyes widened, his face going pale. Faith, what are you saying? You're overreacting. Couples fight. It doesn't mean we throw everything away. You can't just toss out the word breakup like it's a joke. But Megan's reaction was different. The moment my words left my mouth, she turned sharply as if to leave. Fury surged in me and I yanked her back. Where do you think you're going? You had so much to say earlier. Say it again now in front of him. She glared at me, but instead of shrinking back, she smirked. Fine, you want the truth. Here it is, I like Noah. In fact, we're going to date. Does that make you happy? The world seemed to tilt. My fists clenched so hard my nails dug into my palms, but I forced myself to stay calm. My voice dropped low, sharp as glass, since when Megan gave a humorless laugh, her eyes shining with cruel delight. Does it matter? From the beginning. Faith, he liked me. You were just in the way. For a second the words stunned me into silence, but then my resolve hardened, the ice settling deep in my chest. Then why did you set me up with him in the first place? I demanded, my voice shaking but sharp. If you liked him, if the two of you liked each other, you could have been together from the start. Why drag me into it? If it weren't for you introducing us, I never would have dated Noah. None of this would even exist. I stared at Megan, waiting for an answer, but instead she doubled over laughing. Her shoulders shook, her hand clutching her stomach, as if I had just told the funniest joke in the world. She looked at me through tears of laughter, her expression filled with mockery. Oh, Faith, you can't be serious. Look at your face right now, it's priceless. My eyes narrowed, my voice turning cold. What do you mean by that? She waved her hand, wiping at the corners of her eyes, still chuckling. Relax, the tension was getting so heavy, I just thought I'd lighten the mood. Don't be mad, it was just a joke. A joke. In that moment, I felt something inside me snap. I had laid everything bare, confronted the two people closest to me with my pain, and she dared to call it a joke. I felt ridiculous, like I had thrown a punch only to hit nothing but air. The hollowness left me dizzy, enraged, and utterly exhausted. Before I could even gather my words, Noah chuckled too. He actually clapped his hands together as if watching a sitcom. Wow, you two should be on TV? This is better than any drama I've seen. His laughter cut deeper than anything else. My fury erupted. You're laughing, really? At a time like this? Are you out of your mind? My glare was pure fire. But Noah only raised his hands, his grin fading as he tried to smooth things over. All right, Faith. From now on, I won't hang out with the three of us together anymore. I'll just focus on you. Is that what you want? But let's be clear, no more talk about breaking up. You can't just throw that word around. He reached out as if to pull me back into his arms, but I slapped his hand away. The sight of him, the gleam of that second ring on his finger, made my skin crawl. My voice dripped with contempt. Noah Parker, you're pathetic. I'm furious and you're laughing. You disgust me. But I wasn't interested in watching their drama unfold in my living room. My voice cut through their argument, cold and steady. That's enough. Both of you can leave now. They froze, turning toward me. I stood and gestured sharply toward the door. If you want to fight, take it outside, not here. My mom will be back soon, and the last thing I need is the two of you making a scene in my house. So go, unless you actually think you're staying for dinner, which you're not. Out. I yanked the door open and practically shoved them both toward it. Fine, Megan snapped, glaring at me with undisguised contempt before storming out. But Noah lingered, his hand brushing against my sleeve, his voice low and desperate. Faith, don't listen to her. She was just running her mouth. I never thought that way, not once. Please believe me. I pulled my arm back, my Peishi. He froze, taken aback, then sighed. I didn't realize you cared this much about Megan and me. If I'd known you were this uncomfortable, I never would have done it. I'm sorry, okay? Can't you just forgive me? But my answer came without hesitation, cold and final. No, I've felt this way for a long time. If you had cared enough to notice, you would have seen it already. We've argued about that ring before, and even now you're still wearing two. Do you really think I can keep pretending this is okay? I can't. I don't have a reason to stay with you anymore. Noah's eyes widened, his head shaking in disbelief. What are you saying? We're fine, Faith. Don't joke like this. I locked eyes with him, my voice firm, every word like a blade. I'm not joking. We're done. We're breaking up. He shook his head violently. No, I don't accept that. I gave a bitter laugh, my expression icy. This isn't a negotiation. I'm not asking for your permission. I'm telling you. Before Noah could respond, Megan suddenly cut in, her voice slicing between us. If you're serious about breaking up, Faith, then let's stop pretending. Noah and I should just make it official. I froze, my mouth still open, but Noah snapped first, his voice tight with anger. Megan, what the hell are you saying? Don't talk nonsense. He tried to push her aside, desperate to pull her out of the argument. But I no longer cared about their tug of war. My chest felt hollow, my anger burned down to embers. A strange calm washed over me. I laughed softly without warmth. You know, I've never met anyone like the two of you. You really do deserve each other. Birds of a feather, right? I don't belong in your little circle. I took one last deep breath, my voice steady as stone. All I ask is this. Make sure you stay together. Don't ever break up. Marry each other. Build your perfect little world. That's my wish for you both. Megan, the friend I once trusted, laughed at my pain. Noah, the boy who called himself my boyfriend, claimed he hadn't realized I cared. It was absurd, pathetic, and I was finished. I had said everything that needed to be said. There was nothing left to hold on to. With a single wave of my hand, I turned and walked away, my voice cutting through the tension. Goodbye. From now on, if we see each other at school or on the street, let's act like strangers. The moment I took my first step, Noah's panicked voice rang out behind me. Faith, don't go. You haven't even let me explain. It's not that serious. We didn't do anything wrong. But I didn't look back. I only walked faster, my steps quickening until I leapt onto the bus that had just pulled up. Without hesitation, I pulled out my phone and blocked them both. The following week unfolded with a peace I hadn't known in months. Meals, classes, sleep, everything moved in a steady rhythm. There were no messages lighting up my phone, no suffocating three-way conversations, no gnawing doubts eating at me in silence. For the first time in a long while, life felt calm. I thought it was over. I thought I was free. But Noah wasn't ready to let go. He seemed unable to accept the finality of my decision. He waited for me outside the school gates, trying to catch me, trying to talk. But I had no intention of giving him that chance. I changed my route, slipping through the back gate instead, leaving him searching for me in vain. Eventually, when he could no longer find me, he gave up. The gates were empty again, and for a while, I could breathe. I exhaled in relief, convinced the chapter was closed for good, until one late afternoon after my tutoring session. As I stepped outside, a hand suddenly clamped tightly around my wrist. I spun around, startled, and there he was, Noah. His face was pale and drawn. His eyes shadowed his body, thinner than the last time I'd seen him. The sight of him was a shock, not out of pity, but out of dread. What are you doing? I snapped, trying to pull free. Let go of me, Noah. He gripped me harder, desperation in his voice. No, if I let go, you'll run away again. I let out a cold laugh. Run away. The only one who should feel wronged here is me, not you. What exactly do you have to be upset about? Suddenly he raised his hand, showing me his fingers. My eyes landed on them immediately. The second ring, the so-called friendship ring, was gone. Only the couple's ring I had given him remained. I took it off, he said quickly, his voice trembling with urgency. Faith, look, it's gone. From now on, I'll only wear the ring you gave me. Just yours. Doesn't that mean anything? Please don't be mad anymore. His gaze burned into me, filled with desperate hope. I stared at his hand, but instead of relief, all I felt was emptiness. The gesture came too late. Whatever it meant now, it was hollow. This should make you happy, right? You won't be angry anymore, he pressed, tugging gently at my hand, his voice pleading. I lifted my eyes to his, and in them I saw a boy clinging to something already broken. His hope was so raw that for a moment it nearly pulled me under. I'm not angry anymore, I said softly. The joy that lit his face was almost childlike. His eyes brightened, his lips curved into a smile that spread so fast it nearly broke me. Really? You're not mad? Then we can end this peacefully, cut him off, my voice firm. My words merciless. It was as though a bucket of ice water had been dumped over him. He froze, his entire body going rigid. His hands clamped down on my shoulders, his eyes wide, frantic. What? Why, you just said you weren't angry anymore. Why would you say that? I looked at him steadily, my voice calm, detached but final. Because we already broke up. Whatever you wear or don't wear no longer concerns me. You don't concern me anymore. I shoved his hands off my shoulders, my expression cold. From now on, Noah Parker has nothing to do with me. Don't walk away from me, he begged, his voice cracking. If you do, I'll lose you completely. Then lose me, I replied flatly. Because the more you follow me, the more I'll hate you. His mouth opened as if to say something more, but nothing came out. Words failed him, and for once he was left speechless. I turned and walked away without hesitation, without a backward glance. Endings should be clean. I didn't believe in dragging things out. The harsher my words, the sooner he would let go. And perhaps that was why, after that night, he finally disappeared from my life. No surprise encounters, no messages, no calls, just silence. Peace returned at last. With only a month left until the SATs, the entire school was consumed by studying, and I was no exception. For the first time, my world was quiet. For the first time, I was free. The college entrance exams were finally over. As I walked out of the testing hall, it felt like a massive weight had been lifted off my shoulders. The air was filled with chatter, laughter, and sighs of relief as students spilled into the streets outside the gates. And then through the crowd, my eyes landed on her, Megan Wallace. It wasn't surprising, really. We went to the same school, so it wasn't unusual to be assigned to the same testing center. Still, my instinct was to look away, to keep walking, as if she didn't exist. I had nothing left to say to her, but Megan, as if refusing to let things go, stepped directly in front of me, blocking my path. Faith, we've known each other for years, she said, with that too familiar tone, her eyes sharp, but her smile calculated. Are you really going to walk past me without even saying hello? I folded my arms across my chest, my gaze cold and indifferent. My voice carried none of the warmth it once held. And you are... Who? Her face darkened instantly. You're joking, right? You're doing this on purpose. Do you really have to be so dramatic? What did I ever do to you that day? I was just joking with you, just a little joke, and you've been avoiding me like the plague ever since. You even blocked me. I let out a short laugh, sharp and humorless. A joke? No, Megan. A joke is only a joke when everyone finds it funny. I didn't laugh. I didn't think it was funny at all. And the fact that you still don't see what you did wrong proves just how little you ever understood me. My voice dropped lower, icier. So believe me when I say I have nothing more to say to you. I shifted my weight, trying to walk past her. Now move, don't stand there like a guard dog at the door. But she didn't budge. She planted herself firmly in front of me. Her chin tilted with stubborn pride. No, I'm not moving. I stepped left. She stepped left. I moved right. She mirrored me again like it was some kind of twisted game. My patience shattered. What do you want? I snapped, my tone laced with irritation. Instead of backing down, she smiled, her expression smug, taunting. Oh, so you're mad now. That's it, you're angry? Faith, you've always been so easy to provoke. It's kind of pathetic, honestly. Disgust rippled through me. I refused to waste another ounce of breath on her. Without hesitation, I shoved her shoulder aside and walked past my movements, cold and deliberate. Behind me, I heard her exaggerated cry. "Ow, Faith Edwards, are you insane? You actually pushed me." Her voice was shrill, filled with mock outrage. "I'll never forgive you for this. Don't even think about wearing a friendship ring with me again. Our friendship is over. Done. And don't act like you're so much better than everyone else. From now on, stay away from me and Noah. Don't you dare talk to us again." Her words carried after me like smoke, but I didn't even flinch. Ended. That friendship had ended long ago. Let her scream it to the world if she wanted. I kept walking. 2 weeks later, the exam results were released. I got into one of the top universities in the state, the kind of school people dreamed about. The joy was overwhelming, like all those long nights hunched over textbooks had finally been worth it. The first thing I did was call my parents, and hearing the pride in their voices nearly brought me to tears. Finally, I could breathe. Finally, I could enjoy my summer without guilt. I threw myself into catching up on all the shows I'd missed, curled up on the couch with chips and soda, relishing the simple freedom of doing nothing. One evening in the middle of a dramatic season finale, the doorbell rang. My mom got up to answer it while I absent-mindedly reached for another handful of chips. "Who is it?" I called lazily. My eyes still glued to the screen. Her cheerful voice floated back. "It's Megan and Noah. They came to see you." The chip in my mouth turned to ash. I froze my hand, slipping the bag crinkling against my palm. Slowly I turned my head, and there they were, standing in my living room doorway. Of course, my mother had no idea what had happened. She still believed Megan and I were the best of friends, that Noah and I were inseparable. She welcomed them warmly, her smile beaming. Come in, you two should have told me earlier. I would have prepared something." She shot me a playful glare as if it were my fault. "Mom," I muttered under my breath, my chest tightening. I had no idea they were coming. "We don't even talk anymore." But before I could explain further, she was already grabbing her purse. "Stay here and catch up," she said, oblivious to the tension that thickened the room. "I'll run out and pick up some food." And then she was gone. The house was silent, suffocatingly so. The three of us sat on the sofa like strangers, bound together by something ugly and unspoken. Megan sat tall, her chin raised, a faint smirk tugging at her lips. Noah, on the other hand, looked restless, shifting in his seat, his eyes darting toward me but retreating whenever I met them. The awkwardness pressed in on me until I couldn't take it anymore. I broke the silence, my tone sharp and cutting. "Why are you here? What are you two doing here?" I demanded, my voice sharp, cutting through the suffocating silence in the room. If I remember correctly, we already ended everything, didn't we? My words finally pushed Noah Parker to speak. His eyes were filled with desperation, his voice trembling with urgency. "Faith, don't say that. We've been together for so long. I don't believe you can just cut me off like this, not after everything. Please, just one more chance. I know I messed up before, but I've thought about it a lot, and I promise I'll do better. I'll be the kind of boyfriend you deserve." I sat there, my face calm, my eyes giving away nothing. I didn't respond. The silence stretched, and Noah grew restless, his panic evident. He reached out, tugging gently at Megan's sleeve, as if asking her to step in to speak for him. Megan Wallace rolled her eyes but eventually sighed and leaned forward. "Faith, come on, we've known each other since middle school. We've got so many memories together. Are you really going to throw it all away over this? If you didn't like my jokes, fine. I won't joke like that anymore. But think about how the three of us used to laugh, how much fun we had. Can't we just make peace?" Her words might have sounded conciliatory, but to me they dripped with mockery. A laugh escaped me, sharp and bitter. Megan's brow furrowed. "What's so funny?" I met her eyes, my tone colder than ever. "What's funny is how short your memory must be. Did you forget what you said on exam day? Do you need me to remind you? You told me you'd never forgive me. You told me our friendship was over. You told me to stay away from you and Noah, to never speak to you again. So what's this now?" "A sudden case of amnesia. It's only been 2 weeks. Should I take you to a doctor for memory loss?" Her face flushed deep red with anger. "Faith Edwards, you're going too far." Noah, who had been silent, finally turned to her, confusion flickering across his face. "Wait, what happened that day, Megan? What did you say to her? What's this about never talking again? Did you really say that?" Megan's expression shifted instantly into one of wounded innocence. "Noah, really? Do you have no conscience at all? I didn't say anything wrong, I was just looking out for you. You kept waiting for her outside school, and she didn't even look your way. I couldn't just watch you humiliate yourself. Someone had to tell you the truth. Her words seemed to snap something inside Noah. His expression darkened, his voice sharp. That was my choice, my decision. Since when did you get to speak for me? Who gave you the right to interfere, Megan? You've been way out of line. You never asked what I wanted. If I had known you'd cross that line, I wouldn't have asked you to come here today. His irritation was obvious now, his patience gone. I sat back watching them turn on each other, and for the first time, I almost laughed for real. They had finally begun to clash. Ents long gone. Yeah, sure. Whatever, now leave. Because the truth was simple words he should have said long ago, never came when they mattered. And now when I no longer cared, he finally wanted to explain. It was meaningless. In the blink of an eye, the summer ended, and I stepped into a new life as a college freshman. Campus was alive with color, with freedom, with opportunity. The noise of my past faded quickly, tucked away like a box I refused to open again. For the first time in years, my days were light-filled with lectures, new friends, and the feeling of finally moving forward. And just like that, winter break arrived. I went home to my parents, who were thrilled to have me back. They asked endless questions about school, about my classes, about the new people I'd met. The house was warm, filled with laughter, and the scent of home-cooked meals. For a while, it felt like I had left the chaos of Noah and Megan in another lifetime. The warm glow of being home for winter break hadn't even settled when the doorbell rang. I hadn't moved from the couch, too relaxed and content, while my mother hurried to open the door. But when I looked up, my heart skipped a beat. Standing there was Noah Parker, holding 2 oversized grocery bags filled with fruit and holiday gifts. His face lit up the moment he saw me, his voice breaking with excitement. Faith, it's really you. You came home and didn't tell me I would have come to pick you up. The last thing I wanted was to let him in, but as people say, you can't slam the door on someone who comes smiling, especially during the holidays. It was New Year's after all, and I didn't want to create a scene. So I shifted slightly, my tone flat. Come in. His whole face beamed, as if my small concession was the greatest gift in the world. But that brightness quickly faded when his eyes caught sight of the living room. Sitting comfortably on the sofa was a man he didn't recognize, one who wasn't trying to hide his presence. Noah's expression stiffened, his voice edged with suspicion. Who's that? I walked over, deliberately sitting down beside the man and gently slipping my hand through his arm. My smile was calm, unshakable. This is Julian Carter, I said smoothly. My boyfriend. Julian offered a polite smile and nodded. Nice to meet you. I'm Faith's boyfriend. The words landed like a hammer blow. I watched as Noah's entire body seemed to collapse into itself. His eyes widened in shock, his voice faltering. That can't be. We only just broke up. How could you move on this fast? How could you forget me and love someone else already? He tried to laugh, but it came out hollow and bitter. I get it now. You paid him, didn't you? You paid him to pretend to trick me into believing this is real. His voice cracked, but his eyes stayed locked on mine, with a stubborn desperation. Faith, don't do this. Please, I've ended everything with Megan, I swear. From now on, it's just you and me, no one else between us. Don't you remember what you said once, that we'd always be together? How can you just leave me standing here alone? For a moment, I only sighed, feeling the weight of irony pressing down on me. Noah, this is the truth. I've never once lied to you about how I felt. We broke up a long time ago, and I've moved on. You think you're entitled to hold me in place to make me wait? But why? Who do you think you are to demand that from me? He flinched at the iciness in my tone, his lips parting as if to plead again. But the word he used, my name, the way he spoke it, only fueled my resolve. Don't call me that, I snapped softly. I don't like it anymore. And just like that, the fight drained out of him. Noah's face went slack, his body hollowed out. Without another word, he stumbled back, his eyes darting between me and Julian, as if reality itself had betrayed him before he turned and left. The moment the door shut, Julian leaned closer, his fingers brushing my arm as he teased, his brows lifting. Wow, Faith. Your ex really showed up at your doorstep, huh? Good thing I was here. Who knows what might have happened otherwise? His voice carried a sharp edge of jealousy, though he tried to mask it with playful irritation. I laughed softly, squeezing his hand. Look at you getting worked up over nothing. The most important thing for a man is confidence. You have to believe in yourself. He might have shown up, but that doesn't matter. I didn't accept him back, did I? There's a reason someone becomes an ex. Julian narrowed his eyes, grumbling as if unimpressed. Uh-huh. Keep sweet-talking. You're enjoying this, aren't you? I leaned in closer, my smile mischievous. Julian, my choo-choo, I teased, dragging out the nickname. Don't pretend you're not secretly happy. He snorted, turning his head away, as if he didn't care, though the faint upward curve of his lips betrayed him. From the kitchen, my mom's voice rang out cheerfully. Faith, Julian, dinner's ready. Wash your hands and come eat. The table was filled with steaming dishes, the sense of holiday cooking, wrapping the house in warmth. I tugged on Julian's hand, coaxing him to his feet. Come on, stop sulking. You're hungry, aren't you? My parents bought so much food knowing you'd be here. He muttered something under his breath, but he followed, pretending to relent. Fine, but only because your parents went out of their way. I'll let it go, this time. Soon we were all gathered around the dining table, my parents smiling, the TV in the background broadcasting a New Year's Eve gala. The room buzzed with laughter, the clinking of dishes, the comfort of family. As the clock ticked toward midnight, we raised our glasses together. Happy New Year echoed through the room, voices bright with hope. Julian's eyes found mine across the rim of his glass, and I smiled at him knowing he was smiling back. Peace, happiness. Some things don't need words. Thanks for listening. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next videos.